Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I've got a great video lined up for you today. I'm sure you guys have seen this clip about Mr. Wallace here talking about Ripple working with 30 plus central banks. What if I could tell you that I know some of these central banks that a lot of people are not talking about? I can actually show you proof of some of these central banks through a system called Buna, where this is all tied in with the IMF and the BIS. And I'm going to take you on a whole journey right here and blow your mind with some really good information. So let's start. So let's play this first. If you haven't seen this, is a great clip. And then we're going to talk about, this is going to run a little bit longer, guys. But if you watch this whole video, you are going to get so much value out of it. It's not funny. So let's start.
I'll tell you that outside of the US, the SEC case, had almost no impact on our ability to get conversations and projects going with central banks. I know here in the US, we focus a lot on the US, that's what you'd expect, but the reality is that the rest of the world does not see things the same way. I think it's been clear for a while that countries like the UK and Switzerland and Japan have been very clear that XRP is not a security. So anyway, moving on to the CBDC side, it's not really been an impediment. Since we started 2.5 years ago on this project, we've announced 5 different countries that are working with us. We have a similar number that are not announced.
10.
We have 20 plus other discussions underway. So
okay, so I'm going to show you all this. Okay, so let's start here. We got to start with the IMF, Christine Lagarde. This gentleman's name's Dr. I'll find it for you in a second, but Christine, I'm going to play 3 clips, and they're all important because they all kind of talk and go into what I'm trying to show you here. So let's start with this one, okay?
I'm very happy to be in this beautiful country, and we will again for some.
This gentleman is the head of the Arab Monetary Fund. He's one of the person leading all of this infrastructure that's being built out in the Middle East.
Many activities to come, especially the annual meetings that will be held in Marrakesh, and I'm so anxious and excited to be there. And I know world institutions and regional institutions will be there. And I would like also to thank the IMF Managing Director for being our main partner in the region for so many activities that we carry together. First of all, let us, by looking to our region, also to Africa. The population is mostly young. Issues of technology.
It's Africa and the Middle East, excuse me.
Issues of, the use of fintech.
Fintech.
In a world where there's a technology revolution. So the world globally is going into that direction, along with the CBDC, and also in our we have sent a survey to 17 of those
17 central banks got back to them on the survey, okay? And I'm going to show you all these central banks in a second here.
Central banks did answer that survey, and about more than 70% of them, thinking of the CBDCs, and about 18% have already taken an initiative to go into or having proposals for those CBDCs. The challenges.
Okay, I'm going to keep it going here. So here's not Christine Lagarde. This is Christina Georgieva, okay? She's the head of the IMF now. Let me play this for you because it's all plays in together.
Reduce this cost, increase the efficiency of our economies. What is the policy challenge for cross-border payments when we talk about? She's
going to talk about an infrastructure that needs to be the same. So listen to this.
First, we need to have common settlement.
Common settlement asset. If you're all these competing countries, you're not going to want to use their currency, right? Everyone's going against each other. So you need a currency that nobody controls, that nobody owns. You know what I'm talking about here, but check us out.
So if you have to have dollar CBDC, dirham CBDC exchange, there has to be common settlement that says, okay, this exchange is possible. Second, we need common.
The G20 and the FSB are working on this. September 10th or 11th, we should have an update on this regulatory framework.
We have some, but far from what is necessary. And third, we need shared
infrastructure. Okay, listen, you got to listen to that. Now here's this gentleman again, and then I'm going to show you all of this information, and mind's blown. Okay, I'm going to blow your mind.
I want to talk about international cooperation. I want to talk about how to get the public sector and private sector working together in this regard. We know what the challenges are. It's usually bureaucracy and policy and pushback on that. But we both live in the UAE. We know how quickly things happen there. You have an idea, you push forward. Tell me about how we can get everyone working together.
Thank you very much. Let me please elaborate on some issues that
Yes,
are
please.
being raised.
Thank you.
One is the cross-border, and we at the Arab Monetary Fund under the Council of Central Bank Governors have established a new institution. It is now up and running, and I thank the IMF and the World Bank for cooperating with us during the establishment. And this new institution, which is Buna Payment Platform.
The new institution is Buna Payment Platform. Okay, I'm going to play a little bit more, and then we're going to get into what Buna is and what's all connected with Buna.
Is supposed to facilitate cross-border payments and also facilitate financial inclusion. And I thank both Bank al-Maghrib and Central Bank of Tunisia and central banks in our region. Both central banks are connected to this new institution. And we are now, there are transactions between countries in our region. There are 4 currencies from our region that are being used for cross-border payments and two internationals now. Why is this? Is exactly for streamlining payments, streamlining payment systems, standardization, issues of compliance, issues of cost. You know, the managing director stated that there are $45 billion stays with the intermediaries when it comes to remittances. And that's what she said in her opening speech. Now, with this institution, we will be able to bring down the cost. We are now in the middle of connecting with Africa, for example, also for those reasons.
Is there a risk in terms of crypto filling the gap instead of CBDCs if central banks don't hustle on this and that quickly?
You know, I am an ex-central banker and I believe in central banks. So central banks' digital currencies are going to we all believe in
Central bank digital currencies are going to take over.
central banks. We all believe in what they do. We trust what they do.
Yeah.
We know who they are.
But you need to act quickly, or else, you know, crypto could.
Yeah, but there are going to be initiatives here and there all the time. However, central banks are now working to fill in if there is any gap. So with that new institution, which meets the international standards, but because of the governors, they have insisted on this new institution to really meet the international standards and also to be able to use the cross-border payments. And now also it's meeting the G20 requirements of cross-border payments, and it's been taken as an example of a showcase for the G20 requirements of cross-border. And I really would like to thank the central banks.
Let me show you this, guys. Okay, check it out. It's the OMFIF, right? And they actually, if you look here, you do see people from Ripple. The interesting thing is, guys, you look on this, right? You have all these different interesting people: Economic Security, HM Treasury, right? Board of Governors, Assistant Governor, Bank of Malaysia, you know, Bank of Brazil. And then you actually have people from Ripple here. And you guys got to pay attention to this because Ripple is in all of these meetings, right? In all of these places. And so let me continue here. And then you have central banks and digital currencies, right? You have Ripple here, you have Meta, you have Visa, Algorand's here too. Let's keep it going. Ripple is working with a Bank for International Settlements on Payments task force. The Bank of International Settlements announced that Ripple XRP as an official member of its cross-border payments interoperability and extension task force on August 9th. This task force is part of the BIS Committee on Payments and Market Infrastructures, composed of 33 entities plus the chair, Ulrich Bendiso, I messed that up, Director of General Market Infrastructure and Payments in the European markets, right? All right, and let's keep it going here. So this is from Encash. OMFIF has been a think tank organization I've been keeping a close eye on. 43 trillion worth of investable assets is absolutely massive, right? 43 trillion, boom, boom, boom. And here's Buna, okay? And so what I did is I did some more digging and I went in and I found the reports from 2022. 147 financial institutions are in different stages of onboarding process, including 100 financial institutions that have signed the participation agreement, and then which out of 77 financial institutions are fully operational. And then you scroll down here, participation list. You got Algeria, you have Jordan, you have Lebanon, KSA, Bahrain, Egypt, Djibouti, IO, you have Iraq, Oman, Morocco, Tunisia, right? UAE, a lot of big names. Look at all the banks also that are all connected inside of Buna. This also kind of ties into UnionPay as well. Let me just kind of scroll down here and show you this real quick. Contributing to the G20 agenda to enhance cross-border payments. You keep scrolling down, and then here's this gentleman, Dr. Arbor. I'm gonna murder it. So just that's his name. Here's the gentleman that was speaking, and then if you kind of keep scrolling down, yeah, Payment Hub. innovation environment, community platform, risk and compliance center. You know, this is kind of connecting all of the information together. These are the different currencies and different places and times that you can settle. And so this will be a 24/7 payment eventually, guys. But, you know, upgrades, incident resolution, they're getting the infrastructure ready. Okay. Originator, participant, beneficiary, and then Buna IPS is in the middle. And this is the Interledger Protocol. This is Ripple working with all of these countries. And, you know, this is what we got to pay attention to. There's also Swift down here that is connected to this as well. And we know Swift can use, you know, digital assets through ISO 20022 rich data payments. There's a lot of really cool information on this. So Ripple partners with and continues to tie up as Finabler signs MOU with UnionPay. So UnionPay is actually bigger than Visa and MasterCard. It's pretty crazy. Ripple's primary focus has been to initiate partnerships across the spectrum, and the partners themselves have ensured that they keep tradition alive. In a new announcement, Finabler, one of Ripple's famous partners, revealed that it would be signing a memorandum understanding with UnionPay. And if we keep continuing here, this is an event that they had in 2021. If you come down here and you kind of look through who was speaking, let me just show you this. Brad Garlinghouse right there. It's important. And then you kind of go over here. Arab Monetary Fund offers alternatives to CBDCs, including fintechs, Wise, Swift, Revolut, and RippleNet. Arab Monetary Fund has named RippleNet as a potential alternative to adopting central bank digital currencies. The report said on Sunday. The AMF, the Arab Monetary Fund's regional fintech working group, said that there is a considerable risk for a country to issue a CBDC in local currencies that might lose their basic utilities, right? So we continue here. This is from Matthew Liny. United Arab Bank goes live with Arab Monetary Fund's Buna platform. This is an XRP enabled platform. So we've just kind of connected all this together, guys. This is really kind of cool stuff, but I think those are some of the CBDCs that Mr. Wallace was talking about, that clip I played in the very beginning. Guys, also too, guys, if you like my research and you want to participate, you want to support me, you can join Cryptonaires. It's a great community. About maybe 25% of all the information that I go through on a weekly basis gets to YouTube. So there's a lot of stuff that you're missing. But if you need help, guys, link down in the description. And then Ripple launches cross-border payments platform in the MENA region, right? That's Buna. So I have shown you now all of these central banks, right? If we go back to here, we scroll back up here. Let me go up here and we'll take a look. All of these banks now are connected and they can use XRP. Now, are these banks going to use XRP right now? Probably not. You know, you get Basel framework is still being worked out. That's 2025. ISO migration ends in November 2025. And the G20 is announcing more information on this cross-border, putting everybody on the same infrastructure. So not only does it need to be the same infrastructure like the head of the IMF said, but it also needs to have a platform that all of these banks and these countries can use, and they won't have to compete against each other currency-wise because they have a bridge asset, a neutral bridge asset in the middle, which is XRP. So now they can facilitate all these payments to all of these countries with XRP. Now, this is the way that this is going, guys. If you look back in history, you see Brad Garlinghouse and people from Ripple working with the IMF. And this has gone on for years, guys. And that's why I talk about it so much on this channel, because Ripple is the chosen one. When it comes to cross-border payments, when it comes to tokenizing value, Ripple stands out. The Interledger Protocol, you got XRP, you got RippleNet, you got on-demand liquidity, and they're building out more services every day. And I'm actually going to show you in a video that I'm going to record later today that you can actually scale Ripple's payments into the trillions with payment channels. I'm going to show you that too. I need to confirm a few things, but that is going to be a great video too, guys. And I will try to get that out as soon as possible. But these are the connections that I'm trying to make here for you guys. And then you got National Bank of Egypt and Lulu International Exchange connect through RippleNet to into Egypt, right? So they have so many partnerships in these regions already. Progress Soft, Ripple, and NBK launch cross-border live payments in Kuwait and Jordan, you know, and then I believe Ripple is going to get to a point where the United States makes them a FMU. An FMU is a financial market utility. And if you take a look who is a financial market utility, you see some interesting cases here. ICE is the parent company of the stock exchange, National Securities Clearing Corporation. You have the DTCC in here. You have CLS Bank International, the Clearinghouse Payments Company Limited. Guys, this is where I think Ripple is heading. And they can create and they can make Ripple a FMU through the Dodd-Frank Act. And I've done a video on this as well. So this is where I think this is heading. I don't know this for a fact, but this is what I think is going to happen. Now, if that does happen, the XRP that you hold is really the keys to the financial future. That unlocks cross-border payments, FX. Here, I want to show you this. This is perfect. Okay, so this is an older picture. This is 2018. You have Brad Garlinghouse. You have Ross Lecco. So check us out. This guy right here, this guy is, where's he at? Ross Lecco, IMF. He is the chief legal officer for the IMF. And then listen to this. This is him on stage with Brad Garlinghouse years ago.
Remember, I'm from the legal department. I'm supposed to be very conservative about these things. I don't want to go into
The question is, will the IMF hold cryptocurrency in the future?
details about
Maybe
the
I should
IMF.
take what the IMF is going to do. I think we stunned Ross into silence.
Brad Garlinghouse says, maybe I should tell you what the IMF is going to do. Guys, he knows. Brad knows. Okay? You got it. This is so important.
That one.
For that to happen, okay, under the current legal framework, some country would have to use a crypto asset as its currency. For that to happen, okay, under the current legal framework, some country would have to use a crypto asset as its currency.
All right.
Specific to Ripple or to XRP's last conservative, and banks are profit motivated.
Let's just play this whole thing.
And not even specific to Ripple or to XRP's community. I think one of the things that will surprise us a year from now is that banks will be custodying digital assets directly.
Yep.
And I think right now we think about that and think, look, there's no way it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
They're too conservative. And I think what you're seeing is, two things happening. One is banks are seeing that a lot of money is being made by digital asset exchanges globally, and banks are profit motivated. The second, and as we've talked about up here, so Ross has made very clear, is regulatory clarity and regulatory frameworks enable banks and financial institutions to lean into these markets. And I think we will surprise ourselves by this time. But I'll also predict that it will be banks in the ASEAN markets where there is this regulatory clarity and there is a lot of progressive forward thinking. They'll be the first to actually allow for crypto assets custody in their accounts. All right, with that, we'll turn it over to questions. And I see a bunch of questions on this screen, which I can't really read from here, but we're supposed to pick some.
Here's the question.
See those? Oh, there's 2 votes.
Let me try.
Do you see IMF holding crypto assets in the future? Oh.
Look, Brad, see how happy he gets?
They're over here. That's easier. You want to take one? Go for it. The first one's for you. IMF. Do you see IMF holding crypto assets in the future? I did not put that up there.
All right, guys. Zoom out. Have some perspective. These are the type of meetings that you want. Like, this is what I look for when I'm investing in a digital asset, right? This is powerful. Christine Lagarde is the head of the European Central Bank. She knows Brad. She knows Ripple. They're going to make a decision in October on the European CBDC, right? What do you think they're going to do? It's either going to be Circle, and creating a digital euro, but I do think Ripple is going to have something to do with it. Guys, pay attention. Have that perspective. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you next time.